hi, everyone. I never get to see a big, huge picture of me like that. It's weird. um, Thank you so much for having me. This is the first time I've been to Winnipeg, and it's a great city, and I'm so happy for this beautiful weather, too. So I'm from Toronto, and I escaped all of that terrible storm that whatever Toronto had, so I'm also grateful, which means I'm meant to be here. And so I want to thank all the speakers first, because I don't know with everyone here, I've noticed every single story that someone's told, there's a little bit of me that can connect with some part of their story, and I'm like, oh yeah, I get that, oh, I feel like that, yeah, I feel like that, and I've been there and I've done that. So does anyone else, have you been able to connect with any parts of their stories? Yeah, so thank you. Thank you to all my fellow speakers. So today I'm here to talk about how step-parenting taught me how to let go. And I don't know, does anyone know how to let go? I've heard this so many times over my life that, oh, Leah, just let it go. Oh, don't let it get to you. Let it go, let it go. And I never knew how to let it go. I thought, what does that mean? So you have to know a little bit about me to understand that this is not an easy concept for me at all. So I'm a firstborn. Is there any firstborns in the audience? Okay. So the personality of a firstborn, typically, and whenever we hear firstborn, is this. So you're reliable, you're structured, you're conscientious, you're controlling, you're high achieving, and my sisters always tell me I'm bossy, but, right? So these are some of the things that you hear all the time in our typical firstborn attitude and personality. And so on top of that, I'm also a type A personality. So that's like just a really nice combination, is it? So, right? Now I added in a type AB because I'm not fully a whole type A, and I'll give you an example of what that means. So a type AB, I don't fit into type A category. I don't fit totally into type B. So this is my personality by nature as well, that I'm also a competitive, a multitasker, time-oriented, I'm emotional and innovative. So now you're thinking, who is this woman? She sounds like a bitch. And right? So this is it. So, and this type of personality, I don't know how to let it go. What does that mean, let it go? Right? But on top of that, I will say that I'm really kind, and I cry all the time, and I'm gentle, and I love family and animals, and I'll do anything for anyone, and I'll help anyone. So now I've added that, so now I'm like awesome. And that's a winning combination, right? So, yeah. So all of this, and so with this type of personality, and just by me as nature, I don't know how to let things go. I just kind of hang on and hold on, and I have to go, I have to do things, I have to get things done, and I'm the one to do it. So when you're that type, you kind of hang on to everything, and letting go just is not in your vocabulary at all. And so what happened was, I think I had a normal childhood. I grew up, went to school, dated, and then I got married. And so I'm going to tell you my story of how I learned how to let go, and I might give you some tips in there, and you can take it or leave it, but this is, my journey and of how I got there and how I learned how to let go. And so I went through life and went through the normal stages of life like everyone else, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to get married, and I got married, and we really were happy for a while, and then all of a sudden it didn't work, and now I'm divorced. And I got married, my first marriage, and I'll say this first, I was really young. I was maybe 20 years old. I don't know, I was stupid. I was probably rebellious against my dad, thinking, no, you can't tell me what to do, and so I'm like, I'm getting married at 20. So I did, and that didn't work, which was a shocker. And but that didn't get me down, because, I'm this type A firstborn personality. I'm a multitasker, I'm a go-getter, I'm competitive, I gotta get up, and that doesn't get me down. So I'm like, that's fine, I'm done with that, I'm gonna go on and live my life and move on, and I did, and I found love again. And so we were great and happy for a while, and we got married, and oh wow, again. So, and then guess what? It didn't work out, and so now I'm divorced again, and now I'm divorced twice. By the time I was 30, I was like, yay, I'm on a great path here. And So, but again, didn't get me down. I thought, okay, that's fine. I am going to get up. I'm going to move on. I have things to do. I still have lots of stuff I want to accomplish. So whatever. And I get up and I move on and I find love again. But this time, I'm like, well, why not? Let's make it more complicated. We're going to have kids in the mix. So my new partner had children. And of course, I'm like, well, what does that matter? I love kids. Kids are fun. How hard could they be? Especially someone who's never had kids, right? How hard could they be? And so sure enough, we get together, we get married, and I'm going to be mom full on and dive right in there because that's my personality type. I'm going to dive right in, and I'm going to take it all on. And so I did it. I did all family. I planned family vacations. I set new traditions. I went to PTA meetings, I met their friends' parents, hockey games, recitals, you name it, I did it, I was all in, and there you go. So 10 years now invested in this, and family life going on, I'm feeling I'm really kicking ass being a step-parent. I don't know what people complain about, this is nice, right? And then all of a sudden, I have my stepson at 16 years old who says, well, Leah, no offense, but when Dad's not here, I'd rather be at Mom's. Well, that was literally like, wow, it was a slap in the face. It just took my breath away, and it stopped me in my tracks. And I thought, no offense. Does this kid know who I am? Like, no offense. Of course I'm going to take offense. I don't understand failure. What is this? I don't let it get. And so, but it stopped me. And then of course I started into the negative thoughts and trying to fix myself and what am I doing wrong and I should have done this and I should have done that and maybe if I had done this different and all of these self-doubting thoughts. While I was doing that, I didn't realize around me that my whole family is now starting to fall apart around me, that I was fighting more with my husband because there's more issues with the kids are away more often, and I thought, okay, we got to calm this down. And I have to figure a way out of this. I have to figure a way of how to fix this. So I decided to face one of my fears, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go and talk to the person who probably has the answers, but you have to understand this person is so revered by the children, and I hear other horror stories by my husband, is the ex. And I'm like, I'm going to go talk to their mom. So I thought, okay, so I made an arrangement with her, went to her house, and before I went in, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going in to talk to the God or the devil. I could get either one because I've heard both sides, right? And so I held my breath, went in. She greeted me with a glass of wine. I was so happy. And we sat there for 3 hours and had an awesome conversation. But within that, and this is where the changing moment happened for me, within that conversation, she said to me, Leah, you have to let it go and let them go. Just let them make their own decisions and learn from their failures. You have to let them go. Now, knowing who I am and I don't let things go, I thought, oh my God, crap, now I have to let it go again. What does that mean? How do I do that? So after I finished talking with her, I left and I sat and I thought about it and I thought, okay, well, how am I going to let it go? I have to try, I have to do something. Otherwise, I'm going to lose this family, and I'm going to probably get divorced again, and then forget about Liz Taylor. Leah Allison is coming along with, the 500 marriages, right? And so, and so I thought, okay, no, we got to figure this out, and I'm going to work it. And so I sat there and thought about it for a while, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to let them go. So what I started to do was I started just to let, all of the thoughts that I had to always plan ahead all the time. As a mom, as many of you have said, have shown, as all of our speakers have talked about as well, as a mom, you're always in the planning mode, trying to figure your life out, get your kids going, doing everything, and it's like your mind is constantly going. Well, as a stepmom, it's like that, but probably on steroids, because you're now trying to be on top of even their mom. And so I started to pull back and think, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to let go and release a lot of that forward-thinking thought and the thought of where I had to plan ahead and be 1 step ahead or 5 steps ahead of everyone else, and thinking that I'm the only one who can be in control I am still going to stop building up my stress and anxiety just because something isn't going my way or something isn't going that way. And so as I started to just sort of release my thoughts, and it was just my thoughts of it at first, I started to feel a lot lighter. And I started to feel as though, okay, there was more of a peace happening into me. And then that's where the revelation happened. It wasn't really that I had to let go of them. I had to let go of me. And it was me that was keeping me down. It was my own thoughts and my own mind and my own ideas and what I thought I should be doing, what I thought everyone else thought I should be doing, that was keeping me down. Once I let that go, I felt really such a peace that I probably can't explain it unless you felt it. But now you're probably thinking, okay, but how do you do that? Because if I were in your shoes, I'd be thinking, that's really nice, lady, but how do you do that? So there were 3 things that I started to implement. And I'll tell you, it's not easy, but it gets easier as you do it. So there were 3 things I started to implement. And one of them was I started to become conscious of my thoughts. So, and my negative thoughts, because a lot of our things, and a lot of where we are hesitant in life and procrastinate in life is just from our own negative thoughts, is our what if scenarios. I think Dr. Sonia said that earlier, our what if scenarios of, what if I can't do this and that. So I started catching myself in those moments. And every time I caught myself, I immediately went to and thought of something I was grateful for right in that moment, which made me live in the moment. So I'll give you an example. So how many of you have teenagers? Anyone here have teenagers? Okay. I don't know if your teenagers are like mine, but teenagers are dirty and messy. Like, they're sloppy, their rooms are a disaster. And so little things like, if I went into my stepson's room and it looked like a tornado went through it, my initial response would be, to be mad at him and to think, why the heck is your room look like this? How many times have I told you to clean it up? Like, this is a disaster, it stinks. So who wants to live like this? Blah, 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 blah. I would catch myself, and it takes practice to catch yourself, and it sometimes think a lot of overthinking, but the more you do it, the quicker it becomes, and then you don't even realize you're doing it all the time. But so I would catch myself, and I immediately went into something I was grateful for. And it could have been even just in that moment, you know what, I'm really grateful that I'm wearing my jogging pants today because I feel really lazy. I'm really grateful that even something about him, I'm really grateful that this kid makes me laugh all the time, right? So as soon as I went into that grateful mode, my thoughts instantly and my whole attitude, my whole demeanor even softened and switched. So now when I'm responding to him, I'd be like, honey, your room is a little bit messy right now. When you get home, do you think you can clean it up before you leave to go out again? And sure enough, it's done. And because it was a shift in thinking, it was a shift more in my mindset, which then came out to him. And of course, like misery loves company, but happiness also loves company. And so when you shift into that happiness mindset, whatever you're giving out to that other person, they're going to bring it back to you. So that's what I started to do. And so, and the more I did this, the more it just became who I was and how I responded to things more and more. And of course, it's not easy. It's not easy. It takes work. Like, I know everyone who talked here today, it takes work to get wherever you're going, and things don't happen overnight. And so it took a while, but once I got there, I started to notice that all the things that I was fearful of losing, of letting go, they were actually surrounding me more and more. They were, but in that loving, comforting way that I needed it. And so, that was the lightning moment. And the biggest fear that I had was basically what I thought was speaking to their mom, but more it was releasing myself of all those thoughts going on in my head. I started to feel all the things that I ever wanted to feel, and then so much more. And so I practice this every day, and trust me, we're human. I still get into moments where I, feel grumpy and miserable or angry or tired or want to procrastinate. And sometimes I do. But when I do, I know that I can catch myself and go back into that grateful place, into that living in the moment place a lot faster, a lot quicker. And so when you're doing that, and that has also helped me. So I've noticed that it's helped me go forward not only in my family life, in my personal life. It has made it, hugely abundant for me. I get to meet so many more people than I've met before. I start to feel a lot of the connections to a lot of people. I actually start looking at a lot of the positive things in people, because sometimes when we're also in those negative spaces in our mind, you're closed off to all the people, even your own immediate environment that you can be meeting, that you could connect with, that could help you, that you might be able to help them. So it opened up a whole world, even of the people who were immediately already around me. And then in my business, once I started my business, that was the biggest thing of letting go, especially for anyone here who's now looking into business. Learning to let go. There's going to be so many times where you're going to feel tired and exhausted, or people saying something about you and your business, or you can't do it, and you yourself thinking, this is too hard, I can't, forget it, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to work it. But when you learn to let things go, let what people say go, and all of that, and when you can be in the moments, even in your business. Maybe you've done something and it failed. You posted something out on Facebook and it failed. Right? And nobody liked it. I've had that so many times. I think, oh, this is so great, I'm going to post it, and I don't even get one like. I'm thinking, oh my God, it might only be, if I get one, it might be from my mom. But learning to let it go and makes it so that it's okay. That's fine. I'll try again. Learning, and when I start thinking of that, because of course I'm thinking your initial thoughts, we're human, our initial thoughts are going to be, if you see that, they're going to be, oh my God, what have I done? Nobody likes me. I can't do this business. I'm going to fail at this. I didn't even get one like, right? If you immediately switch your thought to something grateful in that moment, you know what? I actually got to post something from my business. Who out there has a business, right? What other family member has a business? What other person do I know has a business like mine? So switch your thought to something that you're grateful for, and you live in that moment. Then the next steps are so much easier. Then it gives you a little bit of that energy to be like, okay, I don't care. I'm going to post something else. I'm going to post this that might be greater. So those moments of letting go has translated to all other areas of my life, and which has made everything so much more positive and better and easier. And the more I practice it, the easier things become. And I'm hoping that it will only get better from here, and life continues to grow from here. And that now that my stepkids are teenagers and they're going on to post-secondary and stuff, that they continue to have that good, positive relationship with me back. So I actually ended up saving my marriage. So I'm not going down that path of Elizabeth Taylor, and I get to be in the family that I want to be in, because as stepmom you essentially get to choose your family, and so I chose it. So I had to work at it, and now I've made it the family that I want to be. And anytime I choose something, I would always rather be in happiness than in misery. So I'm going to work at it. I'm going to work hard for it, and do the things that I need to do, and let go of the things that I need to let go, so that I can continue to move on with them. So thank you very much. I hope you got something out of that.
Leah, Allison.
Thank you.